Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Eve. This is Everyday Artist, and this is my Flosstube number 53, which means that I guess I had my first year of Flosstube last week. I don't know. I don't remember. But since it's 53, that must mean 53 Flosstubes. But I probably skipped a whole bunch after my mom's death, so I don't remember when I started it. Rogue is over here with me again. She's over here in the back. She had a vet visit, and it went very well, and she's doing a lot better. As a matter of fact, she used to snore quite a bit, very loudly, almost as loud as my son. And with the medication that she's been taking since her vet visit, her breathing was so quiet. I was like, is she alive? I can't hear her. And I don't know if you remember that movie, Terms of Endearment, where the mom goes and pinches the baby to make sure it's alive. That's better. I was like touching her. Are you alive? But this is not about my dog. I do quite a bit of different things, but lately I've been sewing a lot and doing a little bit of quilting. I want to get the quilts actually made, but I can't seem to find the energy or time to sit down at my sewing machine the last 2 weeks. I haven't felt well. I'm not sick. But if you could tell, my head is stuffy, but I'm allergic to everything, so that's nothing new. But my asthma has just really been bothering me, and so I get tired really fast. Anyway, my son, who is 23, he and his friends went up to northern Arizona. One of his friends' family has a cabin up there, and they went to it. And so what they did up there, these young men, was not sit around and drink, which I'm sure they did some of that, but because they're 23. But they went to this place called Bearzona. He got me this shirt. It says Mama Bear. And it's like a huge wildlife, not a zoo, but kind of park kind of thing where you can see animals and stuff. And they did a bus tour through there as well, and he said they saw a bison. He said the back of the bison went up to the top of the windows of the bus. He's like, I never knew they were so big. And because when you see them, and they're far away, you don't really have an idea of scale. And they also went up to the observatory up there, and it's the same observatory where many years ago they used a microscope to see Pluto for the first time. Somebody found it, and he has on his phone pictures of the two different images where the astronomer realized that was a planet, not a star. And now they call it a moon. I'm old enough that to me it's a planet, but oh well. They did things like that. He went to a deer farm, and he was feeding deer, and the deers chomped on his clothes. It was very funny. He had a video of it. I spent a lot of time listening to my son's stories this week, and I love my Bearzona shirt. It's comfy, and it says Mama Bear. Anyway, that's what's been going on with me. She's very concerned. She's paying attention to every word I say, isn't she? You want to come lie down with me over here? Come on. You want to come over here? No? Okay. As you recall, I made this cat and you know, the seams are not correct, so the ears didn't come together correctly, but you know, it'll be something like that. And if all the cats are like that, well, oh well. But I'm gonna adjust the seam allowance. My 2¼ inch foot, I mean my 2 inch foot, no, my 1/4 inch foot is a little bit bigger than 1/4 inch. I mean, I'm guiding it where it says to guide it in the instructions, but yeah, I've always used just a regular foot for everything, and I know where on my sewing machines, you know, but I thought, you know, I want to get a 1/4 inch foot, and it's not 1/4 inch. So I have to adjust everything, and so I did, and here's the little version. Now it looks lopsided, but that's because there's going to be, you know, a seam allowance over here when it gets sewn to something else, and then it's not lopsided. So here's the little version. It's a different quilt. It's not the same quilt. I've just you know, deciding things, and this one is a little bit more challenging in that the pieces are very tiny. And so that just means, you know, when you're cutting, you have to be really precise. Well, I try to be precise anyway, but really precise. And when you're sewing, you have to be really precise, you know, because otherwise things go haywire. And I have been forgetting the last few episodes to talk about my knitting. Now, I occasionally do still pull it out. Not as often as I would like. My life is not my own. And so I make plans for my day, and then, you know, best laid plans. This is, I'm still in Clue 2. And this is Casapinka's Snarkometer. But this is how far I've gotten so far. And I think the last time I showed it, I was down here somewhere. I had, progress and stuff. I just kept forgetting to show it. And I'm doing this pattern up here where you're supposed to make intentional mistakes. I figure the mistakes will be there and I just won't fix them. So, as a matter of fact, there's already a couple of those. I'm really good at making mistakes and counting errors and things. So, I'm not worried about having to put in an intentional one. There'll be one and I won't fix it. That's all. Speaking of which, I'm going to go into my whips. Now, after my whips, I'm going to talk about what my plans are for this month, October, because I did start the Witchy Stitchy challenge for October, and that is embroidery.com's challenge to stitch 30 minutes a day during October. There's a few parameters and stuff, but I did join that, and what I plan to stitch and what I plan to do this month. So, that being said, I'm going to go on to my whips. I worked some more on well, it was still September, into All Good Night. And, well, I still can't count. It gets really exhausting sometimes being me. So, I had to take out the yellow of the door and the 2 lights above it because they were in the wrong spot. I put them back in different spot, but still wrong. And I had gone ahead and put in the door. They're 1 stitch too low. Yeah. So now I have not only the teal that I put in around it, but the door and the yellow to redo again. It's not a lot, and I thought, well, you know, I could just make the houses 1 stitch taller. Yeah, I could, but I'd rather just do it right. So I said, well, I'll just take it out and do it right. And I have some black coffee thread. Classic Colorworks. Stop. You probably can't hear. There's a dog somewhere in the neighborhood barking. That's what she's reacting to. Anyway, I'm going to put it in the windows, I think. And, you know, since I'm not using black fabric, I think I should fill in those little things with black. I think that would look good. I'm going to go put you in a different room if you don't stop. Sorry. And then was October. I had been working on When Witches Go Riding, and the 1st of October came out, and now this is the completed pattern. And I am still in the second one here. I probably would be done if I'd make less mistakes. Ha ha ha. But I'm liking the way it's looking. So I'm working on the moon right here. It's invisible even to me, so if you can't see it, you know. So I think I'll be going around. I have gray thread on here because I was working with gray and it stuck. Sorry. So I'll have to go around it with something. But my sisters and I were discussing this on our last Three Sisters video. Or maybe it was right before we filmed. I'm not sure. And if you haven't seen that video, it's up, ready to watch. The ghosts, I can also outline. But what about these skeletons? I love the skeletons, but they're so skinny, there's no way you can outline them. So, and have it look tilted so that I could reach. And have it look decent. So I may do 1 thread white and 1 thread a different color to just make it show up. I don't know. The fabric is darker there at the bottom, but not a lot. It's not a lot darker. So when I dyed this fabric, I didn't want it to be too dark for the dark things. I knew it was going to have a lot of black because, you know, how many skeins they said of black. And I looked at the color of the fabric that was recommended, and I said, well, I think that this is about the same darkness. Well, obviously it's not dark enough. And so I have to think about that. I'll worry about it when I come to the skeletons. But by that time, hopefully, I'll have a solution for that. And then that's what I was doing right before October. And then October 1st, I worked on this. I think it was October 1st. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't say who those are by. I talk about them every week. So, And All a Good Night is Stitching with the Housewives. And I'm doing it on 14 Count Ada that I dyed myself. And the When Witches Go Riding that I was just holding up is by Tinymodernist. And I'm doing it on 14 Count Ada that I dyed myself. And this is Halloween Gnomes, Ursula Michaels by for Imaginating. That always gets me because that's not a word. My mother was a first grade teacher, and she used to get really frustrated with things like Toys R Us, where the R was backwards. And you know, companies do these things to have people recognize their business. And imaginating isn't a word. You know, Toys R Us, the R is backwards. Well, they did that because a lot of kids write the R's backwards. Well, my mom, being a first grade teacher, she said it's hard enough to get them to understand which direction the letter needs to go without a big kids company writing it wrong. And so every time I see that, I'm like, that's not right. But I have to let it go because it doesn't really matter. That's the name of the company. And I started working on this a year ago for the Witchy Stitchy Challenge. And I wanted to use 18 Count Ada. I thought, I'll try 18 Count Ada. I did dye this myself. Here's where I am. I worked on this a little bit in May, and last October I hadn't gotten very far. So I think I worked on it, I must have worked on it some in between. I don't recall. But when I picked it up on Wednesday, I had done this little top of this hat and both hands. And I realized that this hand, this is actually not a hand, this is an arm. This little mitten goes above. This arm, and the two lighter green parts of the hat. That's what you're looking at. And I realized that the hat and this mitten were not correct. So I had to pull them out. I put them back in. I did more. And I was done for the day. I'm hoping to get the entire gnome done before the end of the month. That's my goal on this guy. One gnome. It would be really nice if I could get his name below there too. Happy. But I'm not going to stress about it. If I get it done, I get it done, you know. And then yesterday I was working on Black Halloween series by by Twinpeakprimitives. This is 14 Count Ada that I dyed myself. Yes, I like 14 Count Ada. I like 28 Count Even Weave, and I like 14 Count Ada. I've tried other things. I'm going to be doing some stuff with the charts are in 36 count, but I'm not going to do that. I had so much trouble with 32, but I'm going to try to do 32, I think. I'll talk about that in a minute. So here's where I've gotten. I had just the top of his little, they're not ears. It's feathers. But, and I got all the way down to his feet and this line and realized that something wasn't adding up. And when I had put this little indent in, I went in too far, one stitch in too far. So this bottom part was too far over, but the back part was right. So I was like, what? So I went ahead and took this out, and I was like, I don't want to take out all the way back to there. And I realized I don't have to. I just have to put one more stitch along the front. And so that's what I did. But I'm happy. I probably should have done the border all the way around, but I don't know, the border was boring me. So I'll just do it as I do the stuff near it. So I worked on that yesterday. And in between, I've been working on a pattern of my own design. It's not on the Etsy site yet. It will be eventually, but I don't want to. I want to put it up with a finished model. So this is in the cornfield, and again, I can't count. I think I just get too distracted while I'm working. I don't know. Anyway, I had this whole pumpkin done and realized that I had made this stretch in here one stitch too short, so the pumpkin wasn't where it belonged here. And I thought about just leaving it and changing the pattern, and I just said, no, I really don't like that. So I took it out. I was like, I want it the way I want it. So I'm ready to put that orange back in, and then there's a brown and a different color of orange that goes in there, and then a cloud and a tiny bit of back stitching left, and then it'll be done. And that sounds like not very much, but you know, I'd have to actually work on it consistently. So I want, I told myself last fall, I said, get it done by June or July, and but with everything that happened, my mom and what's going on with my dad and all of that, I'm like, I don't need added stress in my life. I want these up. I want them to sell. I want my bags to sell. But ultimately, this is what I'm doing to relax. It's not necessarily a hobby, but because I'm selling it. But it doesn't. I don't need to stress about it. That's why if the mistake is leavable, I leave it. And with Tinymodernist, with the all the stuff that was going wrong and what I wanted to take out and what I wanted to leave, if it really bothered me, I would have just walked away from it. But I'm enjoying doing it, and if I make a mistake, I make a mistake, and that's part of life is making mistakes, and what you do with it is what matters. So, all right. So for October, I have shown you almost all of the Halloween whips that I have. I have also this one. This is a Black Cat by DMC, and this is the only time I'm going to show the picture because they don't have a picture. It's just a pattern. It'll look something like this. Okay. So they don't give you, and it's a free pattern. You can go to DMC's website and download tons and tons and tons and tons, and they have them in different categories, easy, medium, hard. I have a couple of other DMC patterns. I do like them. They're nice, but they're not necessarily something that's easy for me to work on constantly because the patterns are hard to read, I guess is the word. So it's just, the lines are not the same as I'm used to looking at and all that. The This is all, the Black Halloween series has 2 other pictures to go with it, so that's all the Halloween patterns I have. I did download. It's a very small free pattern, Quaker Halloween. A lot of people have worked on it. I'm sure you've seen it around. But these are. I hope to get a lot more work done on these. And by the way, this is the needle minder I got for the Witchy Stitchy challenge a year ago. I completed the challenge. There's certain things that within the challenge to do, but like gosh, I can't even remember. I just signed up and I'll go look at it later. It's still toward the beginning of the month, so but I think I'm supposed to stitch something that scares me or whatever. I don't know how much I'm going to do about that, but I'm going to try to do it all. So, but meanwhile, I have other things, my quilting that I really want to do, and the sewing for the project bags and stuff. And I have a project bag half done, and last night I was just like, because I was going to go sew, and my son was home, and he wanted to watch. We like to watch Star Trek Enterprise. I know my geek is showing, but he wanted to watch that series, and while we watch that, he talks, and we talk about just various things, what he wants to do, what he's thinking he's gonna work on next, and stuff like that. And so I watch TV, and I stitched while I watched TV. That's why I got so much of that owl done. But time with my son has always been one of the more important things in my life. I adopted him when he was about 2.5. I probably mentioned that before. But what I probably haven't mentioned is that at the time I adopted him, I was working as a graphic designer in a studio and was on salary, had a good job. And he, when a child comes from foster care and stuff, they don't like, oh, you rescued me and now I have a family. No, they don't think that way. What they think is, you took me away from what I know, and I am now somewhere I don't know. They don't thank you for adopting them. Now he does. But, he was angry and he was sad. And I remember after they do a visit, like within 2 days or something like that, to make sure that the placement went okay. And he knew that social worker was the person that would handle his fate. Even I was his, mind you, he was 2.5. I was his 4th mother. He had his birth mother. He had the woman that she left him with. He had his foster mother. And he had a disrupted placement. I was his 5th mother. And he knew, and he chased after her crying. He did not want to stay. And that was in September. And he just wasn't dealing well with it. And so in April, he became legally mine. and I said, you know what? He didn't ask for this, and he deserves more. So I quit my full-time job, and I stayed home and worked from home as a freelance graphic designer. Now, financially, was that, no. It was very hard, and it's been hard financially every day since. But it was worth it, because now he is a confident young man, and he might have been anyway. I don't know, but he was worth that. I was with him all day. I was with him every day, all day, able to, be there when he needed me. So I'll never regret that. The benefits and all that other stuff. Yeah, but he's the most important thing. So when he wants to sit and watch TV and chat, that's what I do. And I actually had put him off a couple of times the week before, and I said, no, I need to stay here and talk with him, because he'd been out of town and stuff. And sorry, this is Flosstube, so I will get off my adoption soapbox and and adopt from foster care. The kids there are waiting for a family. Don't let them age out of foster care without a real family, a family that is theirs forever. So I put together my Yoda. I don't like it. What do you think? I think the pumpkin's too big. This is about the size pumpkin they showed it on the pictures. I didn't paint it. I think it needed it with the color it was. I think I'm going to look for a slightly smaller pumpkin. I saw one at Walmart yesterday, but it was very ribby. It wouldn't have looked like him either. So, and then lastly, I have haul. Now, it's just really 3 pieces of haul. 4. It came in. Yay. Of course, it was supposed to be here on the 29th. Yeah. It arrived at 10:17 at night with no notifications that it was out there. I just happened to look on Missouri Star's website, and they said it had been delivered. And I had been doing stuff, and it's I think Sunday night. I don't know. Saturday night. It was outside, I went outside at like 2 o'clock in the morning and got it. I was like, yeah, I've been waiting for this too long to leave it sitting outside on the porch all night. And I got a little square ruler at the same time. So that was that bit of haul. But I was like, they couldn't tell me when it would be here. He just kept saying, it's in transit. That's what the FedEx thing said. And it's like, you know what? I remember when FedEx could tell you exactly when something would arrive. And now, it said, well, it was supposed to be here on the 29th, but we don't know when it'll be there. And it's in Tennessee. I don't know why it went to Tennessee from Missouri backwards, but, whatever. And then I had ordered this chart from the attic. I saw it on the proper stitcher, and every time I saw it, I kept thinking, I need that chart, because counting is hard. And it's just the cutest chart, and every time I saw her post it, I was I was like, okay, I love that chart. I'm going to have to get that. And I kept resisting, because I have enough to do. It's not very big. It's 68 by 124. And it is supposed to be done on 32 count. So I don't think I'm going to use the pink that I have. I think I might get a different one. But yeah, I'm kind of excited. So if I start something new in October, it'll be this. And I'll probably mess it up 1,000 times. But, and I like the way some of her finishings on this, I like a lot of her finishings. But I like the way she, puts a few embellishments on this. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what I can do with it. And I picked up some threads while I was there. Mostly DMC, just because I was there. And then some Classic Colorworks. These are threads that I need for the holly berry. I want to do one of those berries, but I think I might want to do the box first. I'm not positive. Now that I won't start right away, I don't think. I might wait. But in November, I want to start Christmas Lantern. And I have too many whips. I don't know. But I have to concentrate on the gifts that I'm making. I have a whole bunch of gifts in mind, not just some quilts. I have other things. So I really need to, step up my game of getting down to business and keeping on track. And I want to try to spend less money. You notice my haul is getting smaller and smaller. Yeah. So anyway, that's all I have for today. And I hope to see you next week. Let me know what you're working on. Thanks. Bye.